Hello guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another film review. Tonight we're looking at a classic horror film, which I think is a classic after watching it for the first time. We're looking at A Candle for the Devil, released on 88 Films. So before we get into it, I'll give you a bit of information now about the film, as this seems to be the done thing now for me. So then I can't get corrected and people can say, oh well, he's given us the right information. Right, A Candle for the Devil is a Spanish film, made in 1973, certification 18, runs for 1 hour 30 minutes, directed by Eugenio Martin, starring Aurora Bautista and Judy Geeson. Screenplays by Antonio Foss. Cinematography by Jose Aguirre, and the music score by Antonio Oleo. Yeah, this is a 1973 horror film from Spain. And what a wonderful film it is too. First of all, I thought, oh, is this going to be like a giallo film? And it wasn't. It wasn't at all. It was something completely different. It's about these two sisters that run this sort of hotel or boarding house in this little village in Spain. And one of them is a bit of a fanatic, bit of a sort of sort of not a religious fanatic, but principled. She doesn't like anything that's like sort of unruly or ungodly, like wearing a miniskirt or anything like that. She thinks all women should be covered over, or they're sinners. And it's based on these two sisters that run this boarding house, and then they get a young girl staying there with them. And she's up on the roof, sort of like terrace on the roof, sort of sunbathing. She's not even fully naked, but she's sunbathing. And they can hear these men sort of like jeering from the house next door. So these two sisters go up to the roof to see what's going on. And they see her sunbathing on the roof. And then so the elder one, who's the fanatic, starts having a real religious sort of like taunt to her. You know, this is disgusting. This is against God's will. You're a sinner and all this. And you need to leave here straight away. You cannot stay in this house anymore. You know, you bring shame to women and everything. And she's doing like this, and they start arguing on top of the stairs, sort of like a sort of spiral stair that leads down to the main building. And then she ends up pushing the girl down the stairs, and she goes down and sort of breaks this sort of window that's there and gets sort of cut there and killed, and she gets killed straight away. And so instead of like the sisters actually excuse me, using their brain and thinking, well, let's call the police and an ambulance, say she's an accident, she fell down the stairs. Instead of doing that, they decide to not do that and decide to get rid of the body. So what happens is they decide to cut the body up, and a lot of it they put on the fire and burn it. But other parts that they can't, it's too big, they put in their cellar. Now, in their cellar, they've got these two massive stone sort of like barrels. They're huge. They're absolutely massive. And I think they're keeping like the house wines and stuff like that in there. And they've been dumping body parts in there. Anyway, so the other sister, who's a bit more, got a bit of a conscience, is very, very upset by it all. And she doesn't know if she can keep a secret, but then, you know, her sister sort of convinces her and all this, you know, we have to carry it to our grave and all this. And then another young girl turns up, a pretty young girl. I think her name's Laura, I think the character's name. And she's there because she's supposed to meet her sister there at this boarding house. And her sister is the one that's been killed. So she stays there. And they said, oh no, your sister's moved on, she left. A few days ago. Well, we planned to meet you. Why would she do that? Because I don't know, but she left. So she stayed there, and then she sort of goes around the town, sort of investigating, asking all these questions to different people. She asks the bus driver, she asks the local shops, she asks all these different people, and the local bar, the pub, and one guy says, yeah, I met her. I was supposed to meet her for lunch, but, you know, she never showed up. And all this sort of stuff going on. Because the sister said, oh, yeah, she went away. And the bus driver had no recognition of her getting on the bus. So she wants to stay for a few days to see if she turns up. And so she all thinks something's a bit strange about this. And then they start serving dinners in the dinner room. It's like quite a few people there. It's a bit like 40 Towers in a way, where they've got people that just come in for their lunches and meals. And they're all there sort of like eating dinner. And the woman looks out the window and sees this bus arrive. And then we get this really ridiculous sort of bossa nova sort of music, like Astrid Gilberto and that sort of music playing while the people getting off the coach. And there's another young girl gets off and she sort of plays around in the fountain. She's got a real mini skirt on and dressed sort of like, you know, not the way that they like. Anyway, she comes, once she's finished in the fountain, she comes over to the hotel, says, oh, I'm booked to stay here. And can you mind my cases? I'm just going to go down and catch, you know, some sunshine and enjoy the day. And the woman says, oh, no, you can't stay here. We've got no reservations, not reservations or anything. But she ignores her and carries on. Anyway, so they put her bags in the girl's room, which she's supposed to stay. And then the day sort of progresses, and we see the other girl talking to that girl, and Laura speaking to the new girl. And we also see her questioning more people about where her sister is, because nobody knows where she's gone. And then it's in the evening time, and the older woman of the sisters has been putting on some sort of like a big dress and doing her hair up, because she went out for a walk earlier in the day, because the other sister, she's having an affair with the guy that works there. There's a guy that works there, does all the odd jobs, and she's been having sort of like an affair on the side of her. So she goes off to his house, the younger sister, to sort of like, you know, spend some quality time. And we see the love scene. It's just like a wrestling match with a sheet, really. But yeah, so they have this romantic time. And she's also been taking money to give to him so he can stay in his house. Anyway, the older sister is gone for a walk trying to find, because she can't find either of them at the house. So she's made her way walking towards the house of the handyman guy, and she goes into the house, and neither of them are there. So they've already been and gone and done their thing. And on their way back, she hears this noise going in the bushes, and she walks through these bushes, and she sees all these men, sort of like, well, about 3 or 4 men by the lakeside, all naked, you know, with their dangly bits. Which obviously I'm not going to show you. And she seems to be quite turned on by this. And then she starts walking back through the bushes, through the most prickly part of the bushes, cutting all of her chest and her arms and all this sort of thing. And so she makes her way back to the house and cleans herself off. And we see her in the evening, this is a bit I'm getting to, she puts on this sort of dress and does herself up, like with makeup and that, because she's obviously felt quite turned on by all this. And anyway, then she goes downstairs because she can hear someone downstairs, and it's the young girl that came in the bus with the miniskirt. She's come back to the hotel, and she starts being really weird to the woman, the older woman, and starts trying to rip her clothes off her, saying, "Oh, right, so show me," because the older woman's been telling her she shouldn't dress like that, it's a sin and all this. And then she sees her dressed like this, so she's trying to rip her dress off, and she sort of like rips her dress open and down and a lower part of the dress and all this sort of thing. So then a fight breaks out, and then they start brutally killing this other girl. So this other girl gets killed, and once again they chop her up and put her body parts in the fire and in the wine sort of a big sort of stone sort of barrel. And this carries on, and then the other girl's wondering where this girl's gone. And then another girl arrives later on with a baby, and the mother is so fanatical and obsessed that she thinks that this woman's not got a father for the baby, and she's a streetwalker, a whore. But she's not. She's just there on a holiday with the baby, and they end up killing her, and stuff like that. We don't hear anything else about the baby really, because they want to keep the baby and take it to like an orphanage, and all these sort of weird things going on. And while this all going on, the other girl is investigating it with the guy that her sister was going to meet up with for dinner. They start investigating and finding all these weird things going on. So what is going to happen? You need to watch it and find out, because this film is brilliant. It's really, really cool. It way bound my expectations of it. I just thought this is going to be like a Giallo-y sort of film, a bit like the House That Screamed, but it wasn't. It was completely different, and it was absolutely amazing. Absolutely really enjoyed it. The pluses of this edition, that's quite a good transfer actually. The colours are quite bleak, but I think that helps a little bit, to be honest. But it looks really nice. There's some nice gore in there as well. Not overly top, but there's some gore in there. It is an 18, but that's down to obviously there's a bit of gore and killing with knives, and there's a bit of nudity. This probably would have been on the video nasty list. I wouldn't be surprised if it wouldn't have been on there. It probably didn't get over it until post all of that anyway. It's quite badly acted and well acted at the same time, because you know what I'm like. I quite like the bad acting, and it is quite weird, and the film is quite weirdly cut. Like you would get like this random bits out in the town and city with this bossa nova music, and this dead straight cut back into the house with like no music and while they're talking. It's very strange. And like later on in the film, when all the customers when they're eating dinner, they find parts of the body on one of the dinner plates. One of the women that's eating there finds a body part on there and stuff. So and I thought, oh, they cooking the body, what, which I don't think it went down the avenue, which I think it should have done, because that would have gave it probably a 10 out of 10 for me. If it went that little bit further and made it that they were actually, the girls that they killed, they're actually cooking their bodies. But anyway, it's a strange film. Like The Candle for the Devil, I struggled to understand where that title was significant. Apart from there's one part in the film when she's lighting a candle, and there's like this picture of hell on their wall. But apart from that, I can't see it, where Diablo comes into it. But there we go, because they're quite they're sort of Christian-y sort of beliefs to a point. So I thought, well, I'm not sure where this is coming from, but that bit I didn't get. But the title, but it still works, and it's really, really cool. Absolutely love the film. Really, really good. I'm going to score the film an amazing watch and give it a 9 out of 10. Yes, that high of a score, 9 out of 10. Really, really enjoyed it. Worth picking up if you get the chance. Special features on here. There's not that many, to be honest. There's a couple of audio commentaries, I believe. You've got it's a 2K transfer. Okay. Audio commentary from Kim Newman and Sean Hogan. Audio commentary from Troy Howard and Nicole Thompson. English language, The Devil Makes Two, which is an interview with the director, theatrical trailer, and still gallery. Now, I did watch the interview with the director, and it was okay, but he's quite old now, and he's very vague about some of the things about the film. His memory's not brilliant about it. He says, "Oh, I can't tell you much more about it." And he's like that throughout the whole interview. So it was a little bit vague interview, but at least there was something there. I would have loved some essays on there, like from some sort of a film historians that sort of explaining some of the sort of stories behind it, or even some of the cast. But apart from that, it was absolutely fantastic. A Candle for the Devil, 9 out of 10. A real surprise for me. Any of you guys seen it? If you have, let me know down below what you think of it. I thought this was going to be like a real slow burn giallo, but it weren't. It was paced really well, and the kills happened quite frequently throughout the film. Like, you know, the film's only an hour and a half, and sort of like every 15, 20 minutes you'd have a kill, sort of like in the film. So it's really well paced, and there's a lot going on in between the kills, and the sisters really well acted and really believable, being these strange people. And you know, these girls from out of town, to them were just, you know, sinners, and this is what it's sort of based upon, really. And it's brilliant, really cool. Guys, till my next review, please check out some more horror channels. Check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Man v Film, RS Designs, Pizzlewell, I Am Ice Lord, Cat Watches Horror Movies, and Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House. I have absolutely no idea why I was clapping my hands in, but there we are. There's something different in it. A massive shout out to my lad too. Till next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.